Episode 7 of MobLand begins with Harry showing up at the warehouse. It's abandoned, littered with dead bodies, with the word war scrawled on the floor in blood. There's no sign of Serafina or Brendan, while the dead soldiers appear to be part of a larger cartel group that control the Antwerp docks. This happens to be Richie's doing, and when Maeve finds out that he's taken Brendan as insurance, she threatens him. It falls on deaf ears though, and Richie simply hangs up on her. Elsewhere, Kevin and Conrad discuss the current nuclear war they're dealing with, and try to determine who could have ratted them out. They still haven't sussed that it's Maeve, but will they before the season's up? Conrad does not take kindly to moles, especially when he tells a rather gnarly story about what he did to the last one back in 1988. Alice rings Jan asking for a favour here, and all the while she's obviously unaware that Alice is a police informant. Jan leaves the property, but she's followed by Conrad's men as she shows at a pub. However, Alice also has her crew outside as well, armed with listening devices to catch what they're saying, as Jan discusses how Harry is away on business. When Alice pries further, mentioning killers and gangsters, Conrad's man Paul shows up and breaks this charade before things turn messy. He warns Alice from pursuing this line of inquiry and drives Jan home. On the way, Paul questions Jan about what she may have divulged, but she keeps a level head. Bella speaks to Antoine and wants to work with him, having gained a meeting with the Home Secretary. After Harry chewed him out and took back the USB drive though, he's less than enthused about helping. Bella does sweeten the deal though by offering a 20% cut eventually, but things are tenuous to say the least, especially as she spies Kevin outside making a call of his own. This time is to locate the care home that the abusive guard Rigby is staying at. Kevin is not far away from Eddie though, who wanders around the grounds with Gina, and they discuss how they both feel a bit lost. Of course, this is just Eddie's way of trying to get into her pants through something Gina refers to as mirroring. After being called out for it though, the pair do actually hook up. While this is going on, Harry tracks down the UFC boss, heading into their base and single-handedly taking out a ton of guards. A big shootout ensues around the warehouse, with Harry using grenades and cover to systematically work his way through, determined to get some answers. Back at the Cotswolds, Maeve admits to Conrad that she's received a message from Richie confirming that he has the kids. Conrad wants to see the text though, but of course, given she's made it up, Maeve doesn't have it. Maeve continues to walk a fine line here, and she gets her get out of jail free card just after when Harry rings through. He's found out that the Lopez cartel currently have the two in their custody and they're working with Richie. The only man who could have potentially got them out of this sticky situation is Archie, and with him dead, the liaison the Harrigans would have had is now gone. We soon find out that Brendan and Serafina are still alive, but they're both tied up in an empty warehouse alone. Brendan is not doing well and is losing his grip. Contrasting that though, Serafina tries to remain calm and work her way through this methodically, realizing that Brendan is actually not to blame, not least because of his very genuine reaction to how everything has gone down. She soon realizes that Richie is the one behind this, given both sides have been killed in a diamond deal. Brendan refuses to believe this is real until a man arrives with a tablet and a whole bunch of tools, including a chainsaw. Jaime Lopez is the big boss here, the leader of this Lopez cartel, and wants to get to work on the pair. Serafina tries to talk her way out of this situation, offering double what Richie is paying. Jaime refuses to go for it though, pointing out Conrad is a madman and not the leader he once was. Furthermore, there's certainly no love lost between him and his father, especially after Conrad threw out some pretty vicious slurs in the past, which has done his reputation absolutely no favours. Like clockwork, Richie rings and sets up a conference call with the Harrigans, as Kevin, Conrad and Maeve are forced to watch as Jaime and his men get the chainsaw out and absolutely obliterate Brendan. For obvious reasons, I'm not about to show that on YouTube. Before Serafina can suffer the same fate though, the call cuts out completely. It turns out Harry has managed to make some calls of his own just in time to stop the execution. He managed to talk to someone called Kat, who's seemingly very powerful, and as a result of this, he now owes her a favour, which is where episode 7 of MobLand comes to an end. So MobLand returns with another very intense episode this week, as Serafina and Brendan's lives are on the line, and inevitably Brendan meets a sticky end. This was perhaps obvious, given how out of his depth he's been within this criminal world, but the nature of his death is still very shocking. I don't think anyone really expected at the start of this episode for him to meet his demise with a chainsaw, but there we go. It's clear that Maeve's planning has been meticulous and calculating from the very beginning. She's the one who's managed to destroy the liaison the Harrigan family have relied on for so so long, that being Archie of course, although she's definitely walking a fine line here. Maeve is starting to overplay her hand, and this is likely to come back to bite her, if Conrad can see through her facade, that is. Meanwhile, Gina and Eddie getting together could pose a whole new set of headaches for Harry, especially if these two get into a relationship, but it's still the situation involving Conrad being creepy towards her that feels a bit unresolved. This definitely could be a foreshadowed hint at where this one's going next, and I'm going to make a pretty bold prediction here that I think in the coming episodes, Conrad is going to make a move on Gina, and Eddie is either going to jump in and kill him, or this whole situation is going to spiral and going to get Harry involved and go after Conrad. Either way, I don't think we've heard the last of this. But for now, with Harry caught in a difficult position, seemingly working for someone even higher up the chain of command than Conrad, things don't look like they're going to be resolved anytime soon. One thing's for sure though, Paramount's crime thriller is an absolute must-watch and easily one of the best shows on TV right now. Thanks for watching, and do let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Smash a like or subscribe to the channel, your support is very much appreciated. I'm Greg Wheeler, and from all of us over here at The Review Geek, we'll see you on the next video.